Hello there, folks. Welcome back to Thames FC, and we've had a big bid for our star man, Oltedal. It's a situation, viewers, and a situation I don't really know if there's a right answer to. Now, Mainz first came in with a £1.5 million bid for Oltedal. First, actually, it was a £1.2 million bid, which was just flatline rejected. They came in with a 1.5, and I negotiated from around £5 million. And eventually, we've both sort of settled on £3.6 million. £2 million up front, monthly instalments of 350,000. So 2.3 million-ish, that's definitely what we're getting. The rest of which, though, 1.2 million, depends on minimum league goals of 30 and league appearances of 50. Now, there's no guarantee that Oltedal will do that for Mainz. And there's obviously a profit on next sale as well. So if he was to sell on for 10 million or something, we'd make quite a lot. But if he's not to sell on at all, then we'd make nothing from that either. And for a 25-year-old striker from Norway, with the attributes that Oltedal has, you look at Oltedal there, right? And if you didn't have the name attached, I think most people, you would probably immediately sell. But in a series like this, there's an emotional attachment to players for me. Like, there's something about certain players that just gets you off your seat. Dorian Heiser in Spal was a really good example. Gilles Monnier was an example. And for me, the 4 seasons that Oltedal has spent at Thames, like, it's all well and good. People would say, get the money, reinvest it in other areas. But am I going to get a striker that performs as well as this? In his first season, he came in the January, remember, 14 goals in 18 games, in 40 in League One in 44 matches, 23 assists that season. Last year was a little bit hit and miss, but still, 18 goals, 15 assists in 35 games. First year in the Championship, remember. And then this season, 18 and 16. Doesn't matter what sort of money I'm getting, will they be able to produce those sort of returns? Like Oltedal, of course, has had some injuries recently. He's been out a little bit, and he's finally come back to form. We missed 15 games without him. And in that 15-game period, we only won 5 matches. So it's difficult. So it was from the Leeds match backwards, essentially. We won 5 games in that period. And he's a huge miss for us. Like, make no mistake, he was a huge miss for us. And we've played some games since we last met. We'll talk through those in a minute. But the decision, and we're, like, he's a cult hero of the he's a cult hero of the save. When you go on general, he's the top of the icons list. You know, he's the top dog right now in this team. And I don't think, like, I was tweeting about this last night, so of course, getting on the Discord as well, because I talk about these sort of things before they happen. And it was a matter of, how much is he worth to me? And then someone said, how much would you sell him for straight away? And I said, 10 million, maybe 8 million. So 3.6, as much as for the attributes he's got, most people would sell. But for the return we get from him, hopefully this doesn't affect him too much. He's just been capped by Norway. He's our key man. We've got some Brazilians coming in soon who will obviously fight for a place with him. I just don't think I can sell him for that amount of money. I don't think I'm going to be able to get anybody better in with that sort of return for the money. And we only get 55% of the revenue anyway. So for me right now, it's a rejection, but I'm sure it'll divide you in the comment section. What would you have done in the comments? This is your time to shine. Oh, man. I feel like he's not happy about it either. Like, he's getting a bit disgruntled. He's unhappy about me slapping a high asking price. When they first came for me, I said 6 million, you can be yours, and I knew they wouldn't accept it. Doesn't feel like the chat's going very well, but luckily he's got lots of positives still. It's just one of those situations where, I mean, his favourite personnel and everything, but, oh man, it's sad. It's sad. He holds me in the highest regard as a manager. I just don't know what to do with him. So we'll see how that develops throughout the rest of the episode, but it was something I had to show you. When I was sort of cutting short my break, I was going to go towards Sheffield Wednesday and Bolton towards the end of the January, but with that happening, I feel like we should probably do the games we've got now. Bristol City and Swansea to come today then, and since we've last met, it's been a mixed time. It was the 3-2 win over Brentford, and they got us back on track after a defeat to Rotherham, and after that, a draw against Fulham, and then a pretty turgid spell, to be honest. Swindon, Hull and Leeds all beat me, and to be honest, we didn't look very good in any of the games. Oltedal still missing for those ones. Then Swansea came around. A bit peculiar, really. When you look at the league table, you'll see where Swansea are, if I can show you it. Come on, show them it. Swansea, you can see they're in 3rd position, 57 points, and we managed to beat them despite losing to teams that are pretty similar to them, to be fair. Brighton was a 1-1, Nottingham Forest was a 3-1 win, and we are out of the FA Cup against Stoke, although we did make our highest gate receipts ever against Stoke, 150k for those interested, so not too bad at all. That win against Forest and that win against Swansea, though, massive. 7 points in the last 3 league games, really important, and it sits us still just off those playoffs in 9th. We have 4 points behind 6th place Crystal Palace currently, with it all to do. Tom George, top goal scorer in the league. Hopefully Oltedal can get back up there with him. Today's episode, hopefully, will be the start of that. And let's look forward then and see. I don't know how many games we're going to play. It depends what else goes on, of course. We've done quite a big Oltedal chat. It might just be the Bristol game. So we'll get into this one and see how it goes. And Kay Morris is suspended for this one. So Connor O'Kelly is going to have to come in. And some other big news as well. Kevin Jury is back. So that is actually important to a degree. Of course, he was bought for money in the window and then suffered a broken ankle. He suffered a little bit physically, mentally and technically he's still okay. Now, the big thing for that really is that Kasongo, one of our loan players, could well be sent back from his loan spell. We don't necessarily need him. I think his loan spell's only for a short period of time, actually. I think it runs out pretty soon. Yeah, the 24th of January. So what it does do is maybe open up a spot for us to get another loan player in, maybe a central midfielder, maybe an attacker. I'm yet to find out. And interestingly, you look at the team here as well. Ryan Cummings was dropped for a couple of games. He's going to come back in today for Stevie Foster and play in this advanced area. I've been mixing and matching a little bit, and you can see recent results have worked out quite well, but Cummings is back in for today's game. Right then, admin central, wasn't it, that first bit? Let's see how we do today, though. Bristol City, the opposition, and 22nd in the league. We should be able to beat them. Question is Oltedal now going to kick off? You can see there, I've already put a loan bid in for Julian Gonzalez, Manchester United. He played against me, in the cup game we had against them. I would love to bring him in. Such a midfielder, very dynamic, can get up and down. I just like the idea that we could play him in the central areas, and he could be a superstar. Joe Holmes as well, our centre-back on loan from Liverpool, developing beautifully, by the way. I would love to have him again on loan next year, similarly to Robbie Edmund this year. So I've tried to put a loan offer so we have him until the end of next season. I try and do that in the January. It's a good plan. And with all of that said, Renato Welter Wink, I think that's how you'd say it, he comes in at the end of January. He'll be part of the team very, very soon. Physically, he looks very good. Technically, mentally, I think he's got some nice attributes in nice areas. Still only 17, don't forget, and at one time was predicted to be the next Pele. So we'll see if he's the next Pele. Ben Hur, by the way, was predicted to be the next Ronaldo. So we could have quite the partnership on our hands one day. Although Ben Hur, I think, is better. So this ongoing mains situation, I guess we'll have to wait and see. I'm signing Thomas Keegan. This might seem like a strange signing to make. We don't necessarily need him, but he's got a driven personality and 18 determination, and I'd quite like him to come in and shoot a Lazaro. So that's the only reason he's been brought in. 8.5k, welcome. He's going to be in the reserves, chilling out. Him and Michael Emery are going to be working on Lazaro like nobody's business. That sounds like bullying, doesn't it? They won't be bullying him. I can confirm that now. All right, Thomas Keegan. Off to the reserves you go, but with a job to do. Right, you can see there, like Paulo Lazaro, he's okay right now, but he's got a balanced person. I want him to be more driven. I want him to try and push on to be the best. And so far, he's not quite there. Right, and luckily for me, they do want to be. They want to chat, so that's good. If they'd have said there, I don't want to, I'd have just released him again, which would have been awful, wouldn't it? I'm paying him about 700 quid a week. He's basically a personal tutor. That's literally what he's been brought in as. Okay, Bristol City today then, and it gives me great pleasure, even though there's been some controversy around his position at the club. Oltedal and George start up top together for the first time in a long time, and I look forward to seeing how they get on. Reed is there as well. We've got O'Kelly at right back, Edmund Holmes and Parkin Smith to play as the deep line playmaker. Street, McDonnell, Cummings. There's obviously this temptation to play Smith as this anchorman role, but I think for now we've had him back in the deep line playmaker role. Last few games we've looked all right, even against Stoke. We weren't exactly battered by Stoke. It was just a tight 1-0 defeat. But yeah, you can see the other games looking pretty good. Even Ryan Cummings has scored recently. 2 goals in his last few games. So we get him in there. And I rotated him out for the Stoke game for fitness, really. Okay, they're playing a 4-3-3 system. They've got a real person, which is always interesting. Fraser Hornby. I mean, looks all right. Bristol City then. This should be an interesting game. 4-3-3, of course, a football manager. Quite overpowered this year. Whether they can do it, though, we'll have to see. Things you don't want to read before you go into a game against Bristol City. They come into the form table 7th, where we're 15th. It's time to start improving, I agree. Okay, we're in the blue and white. They're in the red and black. And here we go, then. Thames versus Bristol in this massive match. Massive in terms of that, if we're serious about the playoffs this year, which I think, I've kind of said it all season that I'm not massively confident, so it won't be surprised you to say that I'm still not massively confident, but I'd like the opportunity, as the first chance for them. Corner, headed on goal, and Reed saves. It's been a bit indifferent, Reed. Sam Reed's been okay this year, but not superb, I wouldn't say. It's a penalty kick. Ball's gone in. Cummings, I think, has been fouled. It's like watching the World Cup. Years ago. Obviously, we're not in 2018 anymore. We're well in the future. Cummings with a penalty, and he scores the penalty. Nice. 3 goals in 3 games for him. Finally, coming into a rich vein of form from the goal-scoring standpoint. Lovely stuff. You can see there. Got red boots on as well. Smashes it down the middle. Keeper goes completely the wrong way, it feels like. And, 1-0 Thames. That's good for his confidence, actually. I'm pleased that he's on these. Free kick, Smith puts it in, Edmonds there, oh blimey, Wigley with a good save. Could have been a goal. So far, yet to see Oltedal in action. as Rion Cummings comes deep to get on the ball, and Pat Street there, ball up towards Oltedal, who just loses out, but we gain possession once again, and the run of Tom George, you can see him lurking on that side, waiting for it, beats his man into Cummings, into Oltedal, shot over, I mean, I was so excited, that was genuine, like, I really wanted him to score, goes over the bar, corner's played in, doesn't come to anything, obviously, but the first real sighted goal for Oltedal, needs to find a bit of form, of course, he's been out for a long time, needs to get back to full fitness. I've played him as a sub here and there, but I think this is the first time in videos we've seen him for a while, right? And a chance for us, maybe, it's towards Oltedal, although Morgan plays it backwards, and it's going to be Hornby now, the real person, as it's knocked forward in behind. We are not good at this, it seems, as the ball's played into the back post. Wow, Reed with a good save, but again, Bristol should be finishing that. That should be 1-1, really. I mean, tactically, we could play a little deeper. I think we will play slightly deeper. I don't want it, again, it's one of those things with Football Manager. You don't want to invite the pressure too much, but that ball over the top is dangerous. If our starting position's better, defensively, we can be in a better shape as they come forward, so it makes sense. Right then, dressing room time. Should we go calm? Let's go calm. You've played well so far. Still room for improvement, and Sam Reed, he's loving it. I'm going to go passionately. I believe you've got what it takes. There's more to come. How does Oltedal react? Him and me have... Well, we've had a few disagreements recently, it's fair to say. He wanted the transfer at one point because he thought, like, I was looking at other strikers and he thought, oh, well, there's some strikers that became free, you know, like you can approach to sign them for the new year. So I was sniffing around and obviously the media got hold of that. They leaked it. Oltedal comes to me, hey, you want to replace me? I mean, no, everything's fine. He was like, I don't think it is fine, and then kicked off a little bit. And at the start of the window, I'd already heard that Mainz might have an interest in the new Norwegian international. So it makes sense. As Cummings finds George, oh, come on, it's got to be. And it is Tom George now on the score sheet. Rion Cummings with the assist. He's playing far better recently. It's great to see. And you can see 2 points now, the gap between us and Crystal Palace. Game on. Some nice hold-up play from Oltedal. Beautiful ball into Cummings, who just lays it into the path of George, whose third touch finish, with the goal. And he's doing that, which obviously is a sign of good things. I don't think he's pointing at people in the crowd or the press going, you leave my mate Oltedal alone. He's my significant other. SO. He's my SO. Shot for them. Espinal on that side now. If he can get the ball into the centre. Kelly nips it off him though and plays the ball forward. Looks for Oltedal. Doesn't quite get there. But now Oltedal, he would have run before. Hopefully his calves were alright. I did play him as a sub in a game and then he got a calf strain. I got him off immediately. I was like, oh no, not again. As the ball's going back and forth here. I feel like today's episode might just because of the Oltedal situation at the start, might just be this one game. So let's try and relish this a little bit as Oltedal's on the ball towards McDonald. Oh, it's a mess at the back. West loses it as well, and Tom George pounces on that sort of mistake with their goal. It's great to see us get back to winning ways. Personally, 60 minutes on the clock, and now we're gone 3-0 to the good. Now. 4-goal leads are dangerous. Oltedal, after all of this, I'm going to get him off, and we're going to get Miller a chance to get his goal. Alex Miller, I still don't think he's scored yet. No, still hasn't scored yet. Flipping, I couldn't remember. Oltedal through. I've just taken him off. It's a good chance though. 6.5. Still has to work his way back into the team. Unless we get a mammoth bid from Mainz, then I can't imagine us selling him. But this window obviously not over yet. If you see another video in the January period, you know stuff's happened. So I guess we'll see. The likelihood is we'll come back towards the end of the January because we'll have our new Brazilian. I want to see how he settles into the side. Since we've signed him, he's been learning English. So he's almost fluent, viewers. It's okay. I just realised I'm watching 15 minutes into the game, inexplicably. So let's move it forward a little bit. There'll have been people at home shouting there, going, we could be here forever if he thinks this is the game. Actually, Crystal Palace have won their game, so the 4-point gap opens up a little bit again. We've scored the most goals in the league, though. 68 goals for us this season. Nobody can match it. Problem is, though, we've conceded 59, so that is the issue. Another change in the centre. Kevin Drury's going to come on. Of course, he's not played that much football since his injury, so we're going to give him some game time. As can we get Alex Miller a goal? That's the big question. Parkin plays the ball in. Not this time. Again, though, do leave in the comment section, what would you have done with the Oltedal bid? Maybe say how much would you accept as well with Oltedal? Like, do you think statistically I should have sold him? Again, I don't get all the money. If I'd have got if it was 3.6 million up front, and that occasion, maybe I'd definitely consider it as, wow, what a save, double save from Reed. I mean, big him up, buddy boy. That was fantastic. Finally seeing him come good. As defensively, we seem to deal with that quite well. If it was 3.6 million, 4 million up front, then the decision would have been a lot tougher. The fact there was requirements on how many games he plays, how many goals he scores, it's very difficult. It's very, very difficult. And that, for me, just isn't quite enough. I guess we'll see. If he doesn't score now to the end of the season, then we can regret this together. Oh, there's 5 seconds to go. And Bristol have scored. Clean sheets, obviously. So that'll be why we don't keep... I forgot about that. It was quite, to be honest, it was quite a nice delivery to the back post. We're not really marketing him, and Aspinall just nogged in. I mean, good. And there we are then, full-time, Bristol 1, Thames 3. The game was won after the hour mark, really, with those goals from Ryan Cummings and, Tom George. And there we are then. Really special, lads. Nobody gave us a chance today, and we performed magnificently. Of course, they were higher than us in the form. Let's look at the form table now. Let's look at the form table. I think we'll continue a few days to see if anything happens, but I think we'll just play the one game. There was quite a big Oltedal explanation at the start of the episode. And some of the episodes recently been really long, so I'm a bit conscious of that too. Let me get hold of this form table. Where are we? All right, last 5 games. Turns out it was quite close as a form table, but we've now got above it. But we're up there, 4th. We're back in form. And Leeds and Hull, teams we've lost to recently, they're up there, so that makes sense too. United offer free transfer for Musat. I've been looking at Musat for ages, like literally 3 years, and that's why. And he's available right now to sign, and doesn't want to join me, does he? And now what's happened is everybody... Well, actually, we could get him on loan, maybe. Yeah, this could be a great idea, Man United. If you sign him and then loan him to me, I'm fine with that. We do have some money to spend, so throughout this January period, there's a big chance we'll bring in someone else in a central area maybe, but only if they're worth the money we're paying. I don't want to waste money. I've done that already in the summer, so I don't want to do that again. Joe Holmes, end of next season, signs. We're paying £2k a week for him, and he's probably going to be one of the best defenders in the league, so delighted to have him back. I don't think we're going to get Robbie Edmund. I did look at that and try to get him on loan again until the end of the season or end of next season, but they're not really having any of it, so I don't know what to do about it. And to be fair, he might be a player they want to actually use next year, maybe as a backup option, and I can kind of understand that. It's been superb for me, though. Which means next season, new centre-back required. The one position I am looking for a player, actually, we might as well talk about it. The one position I am looking for a player is Ryan Cummings' position. I think he's had a decent season, a good season, but I really want someone fantastic to play in behind my front two next year. I don't think Tom George will be here. I don't think Alex Miller will be here. We'll only really have Tyler Davis and Oltedal, as well as our 2 Brazilian boys. So what I would love to do is bring in a Brazilian attacking midfielder. That's like the end goal for me right now, but I've been looking around and that ain't happening. But I will continue my hunt throughout the rest of the summer, as well as this part of January. I'm kind of curious just to see if Mains will come back in. You can see he's still wanted by them, so their interest, there's major interest to you. It might not be over yet. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, Cummings and George, team of the week, lovely. Final couple of days, nothing seems to be happening, and I'm certainly not going to offer him out. Alright, that's going to wrap it up today. I was hoping something else would happen, but it doesn't seem as if anything's occurring. It might be down to me then to go into the transfer market and look for some players that are available. There he is though, look, there's the man. We'll see him next episode. He will be arriving, RWW. If you can think of a nickname for him, it might be needed. Renato might be just the name you go with, but yeah, there he is, coming soon. Poacher, looks good, doesn't he? Flair, Brazilian flair, that's what we're looking for. I'll see you next time though. If you enjoyed today's episode, please do leave a like. If you want to see some more, subscribe to the channel, and we'll love with care for it. Until next time, goodbye. And a big shout out to people on Patreon. Thank you so much for the support recently. I really do appreciate it. And to everyone that's bought a Thames shirt, keep sending your pictures in. There's actually an article that Tribefire, the creators of the kit, wrote about that. And they've used some of the pictures that you guys have sent me. So if you want to check that out and have a read, you can do. Link in the description.